Hey y'all, let's start out the new year in my scrap room flavors of the month cube and pick a random kit for a grab and go layout. Let's get this one and let's see what we have. Pebbles. Let's go to the desk and take a look at it. Okay, so this is Pebbles Kid at Heart, and I don't even remember getting this. So obviously it is a layout for a child. Let's see, this is from 2021. So this is obviously going to be probably a layout using photos of one of my grandchildren. So let's take a look at the papers. Well, I got the stickers right here. So here is the sticker sheet, single-sided. And we got some cute little animals and a bicycle and a few florals, little bugs, some flowers. So there we have that. Now this one is called Forever Young. That's really cute. And we have a stripe. This is called Party Time. Bright and colorful with a grid on the back. Okay, this is the back side. So here is a polka dot with some rainbows. This is called Chasing Rainbows. This one is Better Together, another stripe, and a cute blue polka dot. Happy Day, a green floral with a plaid on the back. And then we have 2 sheets of white cardstock. And let's look. Here are the stickers again. Let's take a quick look at what's in my embellishment pack. I have alphabet letters. They're like puffies and some dies. So we have floral ring, some popsicles, some snails, a little ladybug. So this is like some kind of, I'm thinking some kind of outdoor photo. There's a plant. We have a little purple zigzag, another little animal, and a dancing banana. So let's see what we can come up with. Okay, so I picked out my photos, and then I found this sketch, and this was in a package of some goodies that I'll share with you later and talk about from Scrappy Jenny K. And she threw sketches from fall 2023 and maybe it was summer 2023. I'm not sure the year. But that it is a Allison Davis sketch that she has done for Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. And I believe you can go on their site and download these sketches. So I had 2 photos, so I printed them out as 2 3x4 photos. And this will be pretty easy to do because she gives you the exact measurements and the directions, and also some ideas, because if you know anything about Allison Davis, she's going to give you options. If you take a class, one of her classes where she creates layouts, she gives you options. I mean, just so many ideas. So I'm going to do this layout right here, and I'm going to use these 2 photos right here of my granddaughter at our house getting dirty, playing in some water, mud. She always comes over and can get dirty very quickly at our house because we let her get dirty, because that's what grandparents do. If she's having fun, if she's not hurting anybody, have fun. So I think I'm going to use this sheet here as the 9x7, and maybe this stripe as the 5x6. So this sheet and this sheet, the floral and the striped here. And then I may, if I can find it, I have a bag of American crafts scraps, so maybe I can incorporate some of that in here, along with this Flavors of the Month kit. Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you how to do a different stitch than the regular back stitch, which is just kind of like the dashes. This is called a stem stitch, and I usually do them shorter, but I decided after I punched my hole, my holes in my paper, that I was going to do a stem stitch instead. So they're a little bit longer than normal. But what you do is once you have your holes punched, and I've already started this. So say, let me think the best way to do this. Okay. Let me show you kind of how if you were starting this. Okay, so let's just say I'm starting right here, and this isn't here. Okay, I'm standing up doing this, so it's a little bit harder than if I was sitting down and having it close to me. So just ignore this at the moment and pretend like we're starting the stitch. So I'm going to come up through my first hole, and then I'm going to skip the next hole, and I'm going to go down into the next hole. So I'm going to leave a empty spot, and I'm going to pull my stitch down, and I'm kind of using my finger to catch this, which I'm going to have. I usually don't have to turn my paper over to see, but since I'm at a distance, I am. And I'm going to come back up in the hole I skipped. Now this is the important part. You want to leave some slack in your thread, and whichever direction you choose to do it in, always do it in the same direction. And I chose to pull my thread down, or you can pull your thread up, but whichever way you choose, you have to keep doing that same direction. Like I'm pulling my thread down, so I'm always going to pull my thread down, and it gives me that little pattern right here. So I'm pulling my thread down, and then I pulled the thread down, so my needle's coming up above this little slack here, and then pull it tight. Skip that hole, go into the next one, leave some slack, and then I'm going to come back up into that. I'm going to come back up into the hole that I skipped, pull it down so my needle and thread come above the slack, and pull it tight. And you just keep doing that over and over again. So that is just another little option than just doing the basic back stitch. If you do a little bit of stitching, or you're interested in doing some stitching, it goes pretty quickly once you're in a more comfortable position to do it in. And this thread I'm using is just a variegated green thread. So whatever thread choice you use. And this is made up of 6 individual threads, and I'm just using 3 of the 6 for the stitching. If I did all of them, of course, it would be twice that size. Okay, so I am back on my finished layout, and I pretty much followed the sketch to a T using the same measurements. And let's see how it turned out. And I think it turned out so cute. And I'm really glad that I went with the white cardstock, because I thought about changing the color up, putting some maybe like a pink for the background, but I'm so glad I didn't, because these papers are pretty busy, and I think that white cardstock just frames it perfectly. So I did my cuts here, and I showed you the stitching earlier, and then it was layered with this stripe paper. And I took another piece of the pattern paper to create the mat to bring in some of this dark green that's in her shirt. And then I cut these 3 different pieces of pattern paper and fishtailed them and put them there. And that's pretty much the basis of the layout, and the rest is just embellishments. Now, I took, these snails were a set of 3, and they had a lot of white space in them. So I just cut 2 of them apart and trimmed off some of the white space. I don't mind a little bit of white around a die cut, but it was a lot of white in between the snails. So I cut them apart. And then this is from the sticker sheet, and the little bees are from the sticker sheet. And this was a die cut, and this was a die cut. And my title came from the little puffy letters that were in my kit, and I did overlap them just a little bit. And then I went to my American Crafts. I have a little American Crafts, get it, folder where I'm starting to put little odds and ends, because a lot of the color palette is the same. And I did pull, this was a cut apart this heart, so I pulled that and cut the heart out to give me a layering base. And then there was another one with a circle in it, and I cut it out to give me a layering base. And then I cut out this tag, this little label up here, and it all came from this. Now, there was plenty of other things that would have matched, and I just want to show you when I talk about like the same color palette. This pink would have went. I had pulled this. Look at that. It's the exact same colors. This tag, and this came from, I don't remember the collection. I think it was another spring collection. Even this side would have went. And look, here's another stripe that would have went perfectly. And here's a floral that would have matched. So I just pulled a couple of things that, see, here's like one of the labels, and I just cut out the color around it because it was too big to go up there. So it was this greenish color, so I had the green stitching. And so I'm really glad I started doing that. See, look at this gold. It's almost the same exact gold. It would have matched. So that's why I like keeping some of my manufacturers together. Here's a darker blue. It would have coordinated. It's just almost the same blue as that flower pot. So I just have a little bin of odds and bits, and even these would have matched, but the style to me, maybe some of the florals, but I wanted to keep it, these were a little more adult, and I wanted to keep it more in the child theme. And I remembered I had these little dots left over from a Vicky Booten collection, so I just pulled out my little cases of odds and ends of Vicky Booten and added these little dots. And I did my piece of hair. I did my journaling. That was a problem that I had last year, and I'm dealing with it this year, is I'd make a layout and I'll say, oh, I'll go back and journal on it in a little bit, and I never go back and journal on it. So I'm really going to make the effort and journal on my layout so I don't have to go back and do anything with it except put it in an album. Okay, and one other little fun thing that I'm going to do this year is I write down my layouts. I kind of like to keep track of how many layouts I make in a year. So I'm still going to do that, but I found this little gumball machine, and I thought it would be fun because I am not a massive layout producer. So a gumball machine would be perfect. There are other trackers. You know, people like to track how many layouts they make in a fun, excuse me, in a fun way. Let me grab a drink. In a fun way. So I thought it would be fun to fill up or try and fill up a gumball machine. So I am taking a small circle punch. This is, most of them have the size on them. This one doesn't. I'm not sure the size. But I'm going to use a piece of pattern paper, a scrap of my pattern paper from each layout that I make, and see if I can fill up this gumball machine. And so this is the polka dot that was right here. I'm still going to write them down, but I just thought this would be a fun visual. I thought about doing something with, I found one that was like hexagons, but I think it had like 300 and some hexagons on it, or a massive amount. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to fill that up. So I looked for something that was more obtainable for my speed. And I'm going to keep this on my desk. I'm probably going to back it with another piece of paper just to make it a little bit sturdier. And thought it'd be a little fun thing to do. So that is it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.